Hi, Kate Warren here with Devex, and welcome to my flash talk on our just released today Talent Outlook 2020 report. We are very happy to be able to share these really interesting findings with you and are very grateful to the generous support of Philanthropy University that helped make this report possible. You can download your own free copy of the report by going to the lobby. I encourage you to do so. But today I will talk through some of the highlights and findings and what they mean for you as a professional looking to advance your career and find new job opportunities in the sector. Afterwards, I will leave some time for Q&A. So if you have any questions, keep those handy. And as soon as this concludes, you'll be able to submit those questions through the chat function in the VFairs platform. Again, thank you all for joining us today. And I hope it's been a worthwhile event so far. And you've already been able to make some good connections. And we're glad that you're able to participate, even though it's virtually and from home, as you can see where I am right now. So I will share my screen here with you, so that you can see my presentation. And let's see here. Great. So we at Devex every year, we do a survey of both professionals and recruiters, where we ask them important questions about what they're seeing in the hiring landscape, challenges they're having in finding jobs, so that we can bring some of this insight to you as you think about what are the trends that are impacting job opportunities, in-demand skills, in-demand regions and sectors to help you better plan your next career move. So this survey, we conducted it between January 23rd and February 10th. So that goes without saying, all this data was collected before our current situation with the COVID-19 outbreak. So I will add that caveat, and we'll talk a little bit about how that might be impacting some of the findings or some of the changes we may have seen this year. But it goes without saying that even before this moment, we've experienced a lot of very rapid changes in the sector. More private sector involvement, more technology involvement. And so we really wanted to seek and find out, what does this mean for career opportunities in 2020? What does this mean for organizations trying to find top talent? And how can development professionals position themselves for meaningful jobs? This report offers an overview of the latest trends across the market, and will explore the skills necessary to stay competitive in the future, and also identify some best practices to find jobs and candidates. So just a little bit about the methodology. We did do an online survey with both employers and then a survey with professionals, so we could get both perspectives. Over half of the employer representatives work in recruitment or talent acquisition in HR. The other half were leaders in C-suite, director, or other leadership positions. And then a very large mix of professionals around the world. And then we rounded it out with in-depth interview with 10 leaders in talent from a variety of different organizations, across the development sector. So how will the market change in 2020 when it comes to regional hiring? As in past years, most new development hires are predicted for the African continent. Recruiters note that much of this demand is dictated by the global aid spending, with Africa remaining the largest recipient of official development assistance, receiving nearly a third of global aid spending, or about $32 billion each year. With the abundance of capacity and expertise among local development professionals in the African continent, recruiters also predict an uptick in local hiring versus international hiring that has been more of a theme in the past. The top sectors with the most hiring in 2020, project management, that's kind of a catch-all, but I think it really shows the growing demand for development organizations to demonstrate accountability and development results, and really needing very strong project managers and project management systems in place, no matter what specific technical area they may be working in. Health was the other big one. I think given the current climate, we will see that only increase. I think the COVID-19 situation has only underscored the importance of having very strong health systems, access to healthcare, and we will likely see even more investments in this area in the coming year, if not forward. We've also seen a big demand for monitoring and evaluation specialists. again, as a result of the demand for demonstrating impact and results. But we saw the sharpest decline expected for the agricultural and rural development sector. So we're not quite sure exactly why people are seeing a downturn in that, but that's something that we will continue to dig into in our reporting at DevX. So what are the development skills in demand? Interestingly, 67% of employers say that there is a skills shortage among the job applicants, that they actually have a hard time finding candidates that have the skills they need for their positions, even if they might receive a lot of applications. Interestingly, there is split on whether or not soft skills or technical skills were harder to find or in shorter supply. So I think that also underscores really the importance of having both. When we talk to leaders and HR leaders, they really talk about having that combination of soft skills and technical skills really being the secret sauce to being a standout candidate and a high performer on the job. Implementing organizations are really under immense pressure from donor agencies to demonstrate that their programs are evidence-based and impactful. And at the same time, there's a drive towards technological integration. So that's fueling the demand for technical expertise, but really it's those soft skills, which they say go in hand with technical knowledge to help navigate political, environmental, and health emergencies, for example, the current COVID-19 pandemic. So this really means that professionals need to be agile to quickly adapt to rapidly evolving circumstances. Some of the top areas that we see and the top hardest to find skills are data-driven, evidence-based programming and delivery, impact measurement and evaluation, technology integration, fundraising and resource mobilization, and then learning and knowledge management. The soft skills that really help round that out are leadership planning, strategy, and coaching. This is an area that we're seeing more organizations invest in that hasn't had a lot of investment necessarily in the past in development. Empathy and cross-cultural sensitivity, problem solving, flexibility, adaptability, and conflict resolution are all the hardest to find soft skills from the employer perspective. With increasing competition across the sector, development professionals really need to be lifelong learners. So to keep up, upskilling really is key. Interestingly, 88% of employers say it is important in hiring decisions that candidates demonstrate engagement in regular skills training. That doesn't necessarily mean going back and getting a whole nother degree. It means demonstrating that you are actively learning and expanding and building on your skill sets, whether that's reskilling and upskilling. It is very important to employers for you to demonstrate that this is important to you. And it sounds like it's also important to development professionals. 93% say that regular skills training is important to them and is an important consideration when they're evaluating employers. The ability to learn and grow, expand their skill set is something that they look for when they seek out new opportunities. When we asked about what is kind of the most important or impactful ways for people to learn and develop new skills, what's been most helpful to their professional development, the top 5 areas were attending events or conferences. So much like today, and I think in-person events aren't practical at the moment, but we at DevX and many other organizations are quickly pivoting to hosting online events. And I think a real bright spot for that is just the accessibility. It means that you aren't confined to the events that are in the location you happen to be in. That really opens up accessibility to people no matter where they are in the world to be able to attend and participate in events. So I think you'll only see access to these kinds of opportunities increasing over the coming months, which I think is a really great development, notwithstanding for climate change considerations. Online training courses, there are a lot of different options out there now that are low cost or even free to be able to get online training. There's in-person seminars and classes. Those are still important to a lot of individuals for gaining new skills. So we might see some of that put on pause for a little bit, but should ramp up again once we are able to get through this current situation. Engaging with media, such as articles, videos, and podcasts. Of course, I'll do a DevX plug and encourage that you Sign up to our newsletters if you aren't already. It's a great way to stay on top of what's happening in the sector and to gain more knowledge about the latest trends and happenings. And then following, on-site training provided by your organization. So we'll dig a little bit into that, but we did ask organizations about what kind of training they provide on-site. Not surprisingly, large organizations are more resourced and equipped to do so than smaller organizations, but it is an area that many development organizations are increasing their investment in. So finding jobs and candidates. When we asked organizations the biggest challenge they had in filling positions, the top was finding candidates with the right skills and qualifications. So that's really where they struggle. They also have a struggle with getting a diverse candidate pool, and increasingly that is something that organizations are paying a lot more attention to and being much more proactive and looking at diversity from many angles, whether that's gender, race, sexual orientation, and religion, disability status, etc., socioeconomic background. So this is something that employers really do care about because they know that it's really important to have a workforce that reflects the communities that they serve and to being able to deliver even more impact. Some organizations struggle with their lengthy hiring process, particularly large international institutions have a lot of bureaucracy in place that can make the process quite lengthy, and so they might lose candidates along the way. Many feel that uncompetitive salary and benefit packages might hold them back, and some just not enough applicants. And when we asked candidates about the biggest challenge in finding a meaningful job, the top was a lack of a network or connections. So that's what today is about, right? Is helping to broaden and expand that network. You will be talking with employers that maybe have live opportunities that you are a fit for today, but it's also about building those relationships because maybe they don't have that position today, but they could in the future, and you want to be one of the people they think of and reach out to when those positions do come up. Also about connecting with each other. Right now, interpersonal connections are a little harder given most people are confined at home, but there are so many different ways to connect. I think it's been really interesting to see people hosting Zoom and Google Hangout and other virtual happy hours. So if anything, I think the opportunities for networking and building that network are only increasing and making it easier for a global community to feel more interconnected. The other is translating experience from another sector within global development, and that's a common challenge many people in our community face. We do have a lot of resources on DevX about how to do that on webinars. We do have our CV workshop happening later today where we will talk through some tips on how to do that and how to talk about your skills and your background and experience in a way that will resonate with a development organization. Some cited lack of funding and jobs in their area of expertise. Making a career shift within development is challenging if you want to follow a different track. Lack of language expertise is holding some people back, and then lack of relevant required skills. But that lack of network and being able to translate your experience is really the biggest challenges for many of our professionals. Interestingly, when we asked how people found their first development job, the number one was not through a connection or a network. So while people feel that it's very important to have that network and finding jobs, when it actually comes to landing, applying directly to an employer really works for a lot of people. So that's what you're doing here today, right? You're engaging directly with the employer. You may not have any prior connections or networks with them, but it's about really having that face-to-face engagement with them, and it really does work. People are able to find jobs through that. In addition to job boards, traditional job boards, and employers' websites, social media continues to play a big role in helping organizations find jobs, just general word of mouth, and then executive search firms or headhunters is helpful for some people in that process. When we asked candidates their top reasons for turning down a job offer, the number two were that the salary was too low. So we know many organizations in development are not the most resourced and sometimes don't offer the most competitive salaries. And so that is often a reason for a candidate to turn down a position, and that they got a better offer elsewhere. But salary isn't the only thing that is important for employers to think about to attract top talent. Many care about being passionate about the issues in the sector that the job focuses on, the growth opportunities that the organization will provide, opportunities to live or travel internationally. Work-life balance is increasingly more important to individuals, and access to professional development and training. So those are all really important things for organizations to be thinking about as they want to attract the right talent. One of the other reasons for turning down a job is just the office culture didn't feel right. And increasingly that is important in a competitive talent marketplace, for professionals to find a place where they feel like the office culture is supportive and aligns with their values and principles. So increasingly you will find employers really talking about this and wanting to show off their organizational culture and making sure that they're attracting people that will be motivated by the same things that motivate them. All right, I will pause here for now. I know there's a lot to digest, but we were trying to make this a quick flash talk. But I will stick around for any questions you may have, so feel free to type those in. I will address as many as I can. I also will be spending time in the DevX booth today, so if you want to come join a group chat there, I, and along with some of my other colleagues, will be available to answer any questions you have, whether it's about this report or other career opportunities, trends in this sector. We're happy to help. Otherwise, I hope you have a very productive day. You're able to make some meaningful connections. And again, I encourage you to go and download the report so you can dig into the finding yourself and think about how you can continue to build your skills and to grow so that you're able to find those job opportunities that you really want and align with your passions and interests and skill set. Thank you all for joining me today. Take care.